Hello and welcome to Epiphany Games. I'm joking. We'll do it. Wait a moment. Wait. Oh, I've nudged my f***ing camera. Hello? There we go. Hello and welcome to Autopsy Simulator. Now, it's super loud, like usual. Now, I have been playing this game a little bit in the autopsy only mode. Just because I was interested in it, because of its attention to detail. Let's just say that. There's a lot of attention to detail in this. So, you know, content warning, first of all. There will be nice, deep, graphic imagery and images and of dead bodies, ECT. I will put a big disclaimer on the old board there, on the old screen there. But I've been playing in autopsy only mode, but there is only a few things you can do in autopsy only mode. And there is a whole story, and I was kind of waiting to record this video. So apparently I play as the guy who does the tutorial in autopsy only mode. And this individual has a lot of mental illness, from what I've seen. So the story mode is set in 1991, obviously, and it's called Dead Memories. And I'm not sure really what to expect, but all I know is I wanted to play this game. Big time. Prologue. So I'm guessing this is going to give me like some sort of tutorial. Turning the sound up in my ears.
The medical examiner, Beatsville. Dr. Jack Hanman is speaking. How can I help you?
Good evening, this is Kate Brooks. I'm not sure if you remember me. A few weeks ago, we talked about an article I'm working on. It's about your wife. I dropped by last Friday to speak to you, but you weren't working at the time. I asked the security guard to pass on a note for me. I would like us to discuss the topic of...
I thought I had made it painfully obvious for the last time. No! Please don't call me again and stop inquiring about my wife. Damn journalists. They don't let me work. God damn it. I'm not in the best frame of mind to record a lecture for my students now. I'm feeling completely broken.
I took a screenshot, sorry. I pressed buttons trying to adjust my thing. Okay, so...
Stephen didn't clean up after himself. Again. He won't be needed for the next few months.
Read the journalist note. Hi, this is Kate Brooks, a reporter. Oh, look. A reporter for the New Orleans Weekly. Couldn't find you at home. I'm starting to suspect you are avoiding me, Mr. Hanman. Anyway, as you know, I'd like to write an article commemorating your wife's achievements. We would be delighted to talk about it. Along with this note, I'm also leaving my business card. Okay, so it doesn't sound like she's actually doing anything bad.
They definitely pay me too little for this.
Is that just paperwork, I guess?
Awful. It would be good to finally repair the coffee machine. I guess it was in another life. Wednesday. It's not my favorite day, although it's certainly better than Monday.
Okay, so... Okay, I shut the window. I'm getting all the achievements by doing this. So I'm guessing I need to find my pills. Bathroom? Call that!
Okay, time to pull myself together. And get back to work.
I can't see that in there. Oh, it's really dark. Out of order does not work. What does work? This one? Okay.
I need to set the camera first.
Storage. Office. Storage. I can read. Doing really well at reading. There's a fuse box here. Camera.
Now remember, Jack. Don't forget, hit the record button this time.
Dissecting room. This one? Oh.
Hopefully the new tripod is going to hold
Oh,
up.
I wasn't expecting there to be a naked man there. Okay. Just jumping straight in, I guess. This is proper old.
Now, I just have to get everything in frame. This should be fine. November 20th, 1991. Time, 8:43 p.m.
Oh.
Recording for medical students from the University of Missouri. This autopsy is conducted by Jack Hanman. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the autopsy room. Today, you will have the dubious pleasure of following a full autopsy, step by step. For those of you who have already performed your first autopsy, this will refresh your basic knowledge. In turn, for those whose knowledge is only theoretical, I advise not to watch this after a meal.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the chalkboard.
Let's start. Always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must when the job is splashy. And in case of sharp accidents, it's worth having disinfectants at hand. It's true that you won't get ptomaine poisoning straight away, but if your liver or kidney aren't doing well, you may end up with diarrhea.
Ah.
The cadaver is placed on its back on the autopsy table. The pathologist stands on the right of the deceased. Make sure that all the necessary tools are always at hand so that you don't have to run around looking for something, like I do all the time. In the process of revealing and securing forensic evidence, it is difficult not to interfere with the original condition of the deceased. Written and photographic documentation plays a vital role throughout the entire examination process. During your research, be patient, inquisitive, but above all, attentive to detail. Many injuries are visible at first glance, but sometimes they can be cover for more interesting stories. And lastly, remember that nothing teaches you self-narration like working with the dead. So get used to that fact soon. Everyone will think you're talking to yourself. Now, onto the police folder. That will contain all sorts of pertinent information as to who the deceased might be and what potentially happened to them. So, let's take a closer look, shall we?
Okay, so we're looking at this man here.
The deceased's name is Tobias Chambers. Locally known, the deceased was found on the outskirts of a parking lot at a gas station, where he often begged and persistently offered drivers to wash their car windows.
So he's a homeless man. Okay,
The body was noticed by a station employee during the morning shift. Initially, he thought that someone had thrown some boots and a coat in a nearby ditch. It took him a moment to recognize the pile of clothes as the body of a man. Signs of libation were found around the body. Empty bottles, traces of an inept attempt to start a fire, and a scattered makeshift blanket. He worked most of his life at the local port dealing with unloaded cargo. That's it.
Oh. Okay. Did I look at everything? Toby Chambers. He was 22.
It's worth remembering the context around the scene of a death. This allows you to better interpret any traces found on the body.
So
I shouldn't start the procedure without gloves.
He had, like, alcohol near him, right?
Now it's our turn to take some pictures for our files. If I can just remember where I left the camera. It's in here somewhere.
Oh.
Aha! There you are. I knew it was here somewhere. As I mentioned at the beginning, before we begin the internal examination, we need to document the cadaver and the condition it arrived in.
I
We
keep
begin
skipping
with a
ahead
full body
really quickly.
photo. Try and stick to the top-down rule, but this is not always possible. Let's keep in mind it's all about the legibility, not the perfect frame.
Right. I'm assuming he'll tell me. Oh. Yes?
Voila. Now we move on to the next step, looking for traces. Take your time. Look at the corpse from different sides, from different angles, up close, and from a distance. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
Right. So, like. Oh, okay.
A poorly healed wound. Looks old. I'll take a closer look later.
Let's go to the other side. I think I saw when I was up here. Oh, yeah. He got a bash.
That's something interesting. It will be necessary to check whether this injury was severe enough to cause damage to the brain. Hardened hands, worn out by physical work, and frostbite. Some wounds in the feet and signs of frostbite, probably because in a moment, we will check which of our initial observations will be worthy of further consideration. But before we get to that, I need to write down some basic data.
Okay. No guidance? Just perform it?
Personal information. The deceased was unclothed.
Oh.
Date. Okay. As you can see, I note everything down on previously prepared forms. Every pathologist must keep a detailed record of every step of the autopsy. This not only allows you to track the procedure, but also collates the results together, upon which you may back up your conclusions. So, enough of the boring prep. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the spots I photographed earlier. For this, you're going to need a magnifying glass.
Okay, tools, magnifier.
Which spot first?
I have a bit of knowledge of this part from the
I
actual
can confirm the presence of
thingy.
ecchymosis on the deceased man's head.
From the
The
other
appearance
mode.
indicates the intravital nature of the wound. Add alcohol, which I can clearly smell, and this was an accident just waiting to happen.
Okay. This one.
It looks like a burn mark, no doubt painful, but it's not pertinent for this case.
So that means nothing.
Here we can see frostbite on the fingertips. We can tell by the characteristic skin color.
And it was his toes, right?
Definitely a painful mix of frostbite, abrasions, and blisters. Old Toby had been wearing shoes too small for him for a very long time. That's if he wore any at all. So far, there are a lot of superficial wounds, but only one serious injury to the head. Let's go back to our notes. First, I marked the location of the injuries at the head wound. Definitely
okay.
an important clue.
This you
is
don't
something
have to
we'll
do in the other
investigate
mode.
First. We're not in frost season yet, but high humidity, wind, and the inability to warm up can also be causes of frostbite. Even though this type of wound didn't contribute to the deceased's death, we're still required to record it. If Toby's body was cold for a prolonged period, the frostbite could have resulted from the body's defense reaction. The safety of the internal organs is more important than fingers, nose, or ears. As you can see, we don't have much to go on. Let's write down what preliminary causes of death we can think of. Various types of accidents are a common cause of death among the homeless and the elderly. Perhaps old Toby slipped and accidentally hit his head.
I'm trying not to speak, by the way, while I'm
Considering
doing
the
this.
conditions in which he slept, his body may have become hypothermic. The nights have been particularly nasty lately. We will check if there are any signs of freezing internally. This is of no interest to us. Since the deceased clearly smelled of alcohol, I'll add alcohol poisoning to our list.
Right.
We still have one thing left from the basics: rigor mortis. Well, we take our deceased by the hand, gradually re-raise it.
Oh, stressed. I'm stressed.
Now let it go.
Great success.
As you can see, the hand falls loose. What's the conclusion? Death must have occurred more than 72 hours ago. The police information appears correct.
Oh.
Head
Interesting.
trauma seems the most promising, so we'll start there. For this,
The
I
saw.
need an oscillating saw.
So that is this one. Wait, that one. Okay,
The
this
cut is made from
this is
wood.
where it gets grimy, everyone. I'm trying not to be bad at it.
After which, we
Yay!
remove the skin and the top of the skull.
Pick up his brain.
After the basic
Give it a
examination,
jiggle.
we can see that the brain's cerebral gyri in both hemispheres are symmetric. The brain looks good. Let's take a cross-section. Some pathologists prefer
Okay.
to examine organs without removing them. However, for me, it's much more convenient to examine them on a board, which we'll do now.
Right. Now this is where
Holding
we
a
chop.
long, narrow blade knife in the dominant hand, we slowly cut the cranial nerves on both sides, all the time pulling the brain towards us.
I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm gonna fuck it up immediately.
So far, so good. The
Okay.
hematoma seems to have had no effect on the brain.
So the fall, the big old bruise, nothing on the brain.
We can rule the fatal accident out as well. Brain is in good condition, so we have no choice but to proceed to the internal examination of the other organs. I grab a scalpel from my kit.
Okay. I'm just following what Jack says,
The
you know.
incision should be in the shape of a letter Y.
Okay. Again, graphic. I know
Use a
how
deep
graphic
cut
this
to
is.
reach all the way to the ribs and to penetrate the abdominal wall. All right. Now we peel back and separate the skin.
Ready? This is the gross bit. What?
Now, we need to remove the ribs. We'll need the loppers for this.
Loppers. This is how. Oh,
Quite a satisfying crunch, for some anyway. After removing the cartilage tissue, we instantly notice two things. Firstly, there is no congestion of the internal organs. This means that although the deceased was hypothermic, it didn't kill him. Secondly, the deceased smoked like a chimney. So, we should take a closer look at those lungs.
ah.
We can
See-
see widespread black and tarry deposits caused by smoking cigarettes.
Don't
Despite the
smoke,
tragic
guys.
condition of the lungs, they are not the cause of death. Alice smoked too. It didn't kill her, but... what was I talking about? Lungs. Yes.
Oh,
Advanced
dear.
inflammation.
Do I not have to say anything about the lungs? Mark the damage. Oh, there we go. Alright. So, I'm letting Jack talk through this because I really kind of want to get a feel for like the way. This is very different to the actual other mode. I'll show you the other mode after. But this is like the tutorial kind of situation. And
What now? The syringe. Now's a good time to collect some samples.
but a lot of this is very much it's similar.
Specifically 3. From the eye, the heart, and the bladder. I'm interested to see the concentration of alcohol in the body.
Okay, we'll start up here.
Vitreous humor analysis is very useful in indicating long-term alcohol abuse. 5 milliliters from the left ventricle should do it. Now from the bladder, we draw about 10 milliliters of fluid. Now we take our samples to the centrifuge, but before I do that, I need to find my notebook. My dyscalculia means that I always double-check the settings. Please excuse me while I run and fetch it.
Okay. So I don't know when the spooky is supposed to start. Office? Yes. Notebook?
This whole thing is covered in stains. I should check this out under the microscope sometime.
Ew. Oh. Why did he jump?
let's get back to the examination.
Okay. So nothing scary is happening yet. I'm kind of glad that,
A considerable collection.
alright. The voice actor is really good. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I played a bit of the other
samples into the rotor.
the other mode, because I kind of have a feel for the game. I'm sorry about my camera, by the way. I don't know what's going on. I've bought another camera. Sorry, just as a complete... I'm going to pause just quickly so I can talk, because I've been so tight-lipped and your girl needs to yap. I bought a new camera, but for some reason, when it's plugged in and used as a webcam, it's super, super friggin' blurry, and I can't get it to focus on anything. Like, my cheap webcam is clearer than this not-so-cheap camera, and I don't know what's going on with it. Outside of webcam use, like when it's not plugged into the computer, the quality is great, it's fantastic, so I'll be using it a lot more for my vlogging and content to come, but yeah, for some reason when it's plugged into the computer, it's just like, no, I won't focus on anything, or I'll focus on the background, you know. Oh, there I am. There I am. Is that for real? Oh, is it for real? I hope it's for real. But yeah, so where I've been fiddling with the wires, I've messed it up. And now it keeps doing that weird flickering thing. Did I fix it? Please tell me I fixed it. Because I've kind of enjoyed having the camera on. Anyway, I was going to record some new content today. And I couldn't because I was fighting my camera all day. And also today... If you go back on my... That's the tumble dryer, by the way. If you go back on my community tab, you'll see that today is my YouTube birthday. So happy birthday, Echoes. It's our birthday today. Anyway, back to being gross. Put the samples in. 1, 2, 3.
Now, we set the appropriate time and speed.
Okay. Notes. Presence of alcohol, 1570. 15... Yes. 15? Yes, 70.
Okay, let's roll.
Go. Spinning.
Oh shit. The fuses again. Where were we? Oh yes. The blood alcohol concentration.
I might go and top my pills up. Just while I'm gonna pre-pill, I think. Just while I'm getting a bit spooked. I mean, I'm hoping that that's gonna help me a wee bit. I don't know how often you're supposed to take medication like that.
Let's see what we've got here. Everything's separated as it should. Our lab is closed until tomorrow after the last, incident. However, considering that Toby's favorite eau de parfum appears to be ethanol, I'm guessing the results won't surprise me at all.
Okay.
Let's go further. We will now focus on the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart.
Right, so I'm just not gonna do lab.
We remove the organ and examine it closely. We look for dark hypoxic areas, clots, or other elements that stand out as abnormal. At first glance, the heart looks fine. The pulmonary trunk and aorta seem to be in good condition. There are no pathological changes that would have contributed to Toby's death.
Look at my little grabby hand. Oh, my camera's still rolling. Wow. Okay.
Now let's take a closer look at the stomach. Size is normal, healthy, and as expected,
What?
the stomach has no major external damage. We must now cut it open and inspect inside.
Right.
We will do it carefully
He's
so that its
he's rushing.
contents do not spill out.
Rushing through it a bit. I don't know what he's saying. Okay, now we're gonna chop his stomach.
We open the stomach along the greater curvature, from the heart to the pyloric end.
I forgot about this. Okay. I've just nudged my chair, so I'm hoping that my camera is still on.
Oh,
Right.
I already feel like there's something left inside.
Ew. I bet this stinks. I'm being so careful, can you see? I'm trying so hard. Oh. Oh. Go on, final stretch.
Okay,
Oh.
large amount of gas, small amounts of yellow, grayish
Ew.
food content, resembling some kind of meat. Either our deceased hadn't eaten in days, or the bulk of his stomach had already found a way out. Looks like I'll have to find the missing contents.
Uh-oh.
There are two ways here. One is obvious, and the other is... It couldn't have been suffocation, could it? I'll add this to the list and move on to the deceased's neck.
Okay,
At
so
first glance,
take his
the
neck
trachea
out.
looks normal.
Peekaboo.
Same result as with the stomach. The external inspection doesn't tell us anything. This time we'll cut on a tray.
Okay, let's chop his neck.
While cutting such a small organ as the trachea, we must make a precise incision. To be able to cut with the very tip of the blade,
Okay.
we must hold the scalpel as we would a pen.
It's the weirdest
And
dot to
after
dot
careful
ever.
examination and deduction, we've got it. A clogged trachea. It's time to summarize the whole thing.
Okay, so he was drowning in his own vomit, right?
Based on the report and preliminary documentation, it's safe to assume that the deceased passed out after consumption of alcohol and then fell asleep on his back. Then, the gastric contents refluxed and flooded the airways, causing death. That's why we don't forget about the recovery position at dorm parties.
Okay, so we... Okay, so he was drowned on his own sick. So the manner of death was accidental, right?
And now it's all clear. The death was suffocation. Now, signature.
Are you serious?
The
Let's
mystery is solved.
draw a cloud.
But for us, this is not the end. First, the dead body needs to be cleaned up.
Yay! They're supposed to be blush marks, but they're like really far away. Some eyelashes. Gorgeous. Done. Done.
For
Okay.
this, we will need to close the body and grab the needle. First, we unroll the skin flaps, and then
Close him.
we sew the deceased back up.
Needle.
I'm using the baseball stitch technique. This stitching method is very strong and quick to do.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Leave
Now
him.
we say goodbye to the deceased and put them safely in the fridge, ready for the next stage of their journey.
Goodbye. In you go.
God, I'm tired. I'll drop these samples
Yay.
off at the lab on the way to the bar.
Turn the camera off. Or not. Okay. So there's a bit of a mystery going on. I
Look,
kind of want
Stephen,
to explore
I don't
that.
feel like drinking alone today. It's been a while since the eye wash in this thing was changed.
Oh. Oh. What's going on? A skelly bones.